Are green card holders and visa holders included in the upcoming travel ban? So there have been 4 previous Trump travel bans. Travel ban 5.0 is coming according to reports. The New York Times a few days ago reported a proposed draft list of 43 countries who could face travel restrictions. Now, more than half of those countries on the list are African countries, 22 of them, but we wait for the final list. In the meantime, let's look at the potential scope of the travel ban that could be coming using previous Trump travel bans as a guide. In the last ban, the travel restrictions applied to foreign nationals of the designated or the named countries who, number one, were outside the United States on the applicable effective date of the travel ban, and number two, people on the designated countries who did not have a valid US visa on the applicable effective date. Let me remind you that when the travel ban is made effective, it will have a date from which it applies. Okay. Now, some people from those countries could be eligible for waivers and exemptions. Let's take a look at exemptions. Now, the travel restrictions in the proclamation will not apply to the people who are covered under the exemption. And some of these people include, number one, lawful permanent residents from those countries or green card holders. Number two, foreign nationals who are admitted to or paroled into the US on or after the applicable effective date. Number three, foreign nationals who have a document other than a visa. For example, you have a transportation letter, you have a boarding foil issued by the US Embassy, you have an advance parole document that is valid on the applicable effective date or issued any date after the applicable date. It means you have the exemption. Number four, if you're a dual national and one of your nationalities is a designated country and you are traveling on a passport issued by a non-designated country, meaning you are traveling on a country that is not listed on the travel ban, then you could come into the US. Number five, foreign nationals who are on a diplomatic visa, UN visas, G visas, G4 visas. And number six, foreign nationals who have been granted asylum in the US, refugees who have been admitted to the US, or individuals who have been granted withholding of removal, advance parole, or protection under CAT, the Convention Against Torture. When it comes to waivers, the waiver means that the ban applies to you, but you are seeking grace or exemption from the waiver. Okay, now a waiver may be granted if you are a foreign national, you are from a designated country, and you demonstrate to the consular officer or to CBP officials that, number one, if they deny you entry, it will cause you undue hardship. Number two, your entry will not cause or pose a threat to the national security or public safety of the United States. And number three, entry would be in the interest of the United States. Here are examples of people who qualified for waivers in some of the previous travel bans. Number one, if you're a foreign national on designated list because of your country and you have been admitted to the US for a continuous period of work, study, or other long-term activity, and you are outside the US on the applicable effective date, and then you seek to re-enter the US to resume or to continue that activity, and you are able to show that if they deny you re-entry, it will disturb or impair that activity, then you could qualify for a waiver. Number two, if as a foreign national subject to the ban, you have previously established significant contact with the US, but you are outside the United States on the applicable effective date for work, study, or for another lawful activity. Number three, if as a foreign national you're seeking to enter the US for significant business, professional obligations, and denial of entry would impair or disturb those obligations, right? If it's business, the US wants it. Number four, the foreign national you are seeking to enter the US to visit or to reside with a close family member, for example, spouse, child, or parent who's a US citizen or a lawful permanent resident, and the denial of entry would cause undue hardship. Number five, as a foreign national, you are an infant, or the foreign national is an infant, a young child, or adoptee, or an individual that needs urgent medical care, or someone whose entry is otherwise justified by special circumstances. Again, these things will be reviewed on a case-by-case basis. Number 6, if you as a foreign national, you can document that you have provided faithful and valuable service to the U.S. government. Of course, they want to pay you back for your faithfulness, so you will qualify for this exemption. Number 7, you are a Canadian permanent resident and you applied for your U.S. visa at a location within Canada, then you could qualify for the waiver. Number 8, as a foreign national, you're traveling as a U.S. government sponsored exchange visitor, for example, as a J1 visa holder. Again, the final list of the countries that will be banned has not yet been released. Once the list is released, there will be a federal registered notice that will give us the specifics and the details of the travel ban. But these are some of the questions that we received and we decided to assist you with it. I hope this video helps. I'll see you soon in our next one. Bye.